The third 50-year period of our nation saw many great heroes of the faith in modern history. D.L. Moody, R.A. Torrey, Billy Sunday, and many others that we hear so much about were hard at work. Many hundreds of thousands of people were saved in America and in Europe. America after the Civil War transitioned into migrations west to the frontier. Cowboys were driving cattle across the western plains. Indian wars were prevalent and dangerous. The Battle of Little Bighorn in 1876 became one of the most iconic Native American victories in these wars. The industrial growth in America exploded. Petroleum refining, steel manufacturing, and electrical power transformed American society. Things were changing at a remarkable pace. It was during this time that the USS Maine exploded in the Havana Harbor on the coast of Cuba. This explosion propelled America into war with Spain in the Spanish-American War in 1898. The 4-month conflict resulted in Cuban independence from Spain as well as Philippine independence from Spain. The most famous leader in this war was Colonel Theodore Roosevelt, who commanded the Rough Riders and charged San Juan Hill. He became a national hero. After the war, the Philippines became a territory of the United States. The Philippine-American War began in the following year in 1899 through 1902. The Philippines remained a territory until 1946 when they gained their independence. In 1901, William McKinley became the third president of the United States to be assassinated, and his vice president, Theodore Roosevelt, became the 26th president of the United States. The 1800s for America was a great time of growth, expansion, conflict, and establishment. The 1900s would prove to see more technological advances than any other time in history. In 1903, something foreign, unheard of, occurred. The Wright brothers made their inaugural flight in an aeroplane. War broke out again just a few years later on a larger scale that had never been known in modern history. In 1917, the United States entered the Great War against Germany. Even though Americans were only engaged for 2 of the 5 years of the war, about 116,750 Americans lost their lives. This was the first modern war with new technology, weapons, and equipment. Following the war, the Prohibition began in 1920, of which evangelist Billy Sunday and his revivals played a large part. It remained in effect until 1933. Also in 1920, the 18th Amendment to the Constitution gave women the right to vote. The world was coming to life. We mentioned revivals, war, prohibition. The social, political, and spiritual movements of the day were very influential in all walks of life. Inventors were bringing changes people had never imagined before. Thomas Edison invented the incandescent light bulb. Big cities were getting electricity, and it was being conducted further out into the rural areas. Automobiles came into view. In 1908, Henry Ford produced the Model T and introduced the assembly line. In the 1920s, average Americans could afford their own car. Road infrastructure was growing, allowing easier travel in these new cars. The Wright brothers were building airplanes. Telephones were invented in 1876, and by 1910 there were over 5 million in the United States. Mass communications using the radio was introduced during this period. By 1922, thousands of households had a radio. This 50-year period probably saw more visible changes in American society, culture, and everyday life than any other period in our nation's history. From revivals to wars, from horses and buggies to automobiles, from oil lamps to electric lights, America and the world were on the move. This period ends in the middle of what would become known as the Roaring '20s. People were happy, excited, recovering from the war with prospects of great times ahead. People had jobs. Jobs were becoming more workable in regard to hours and work conditions. And people were able to start living more comfortably than many had ever before. From the 100-year birthday to the 150th, our nation grew from 38 states to 48 states. New Mexico and Arizona being the last 2 states to be ratified for over 40 years. The flag flown in 1926 contained 48 stars. This is the flag that most of our parents said the Pledge of Allegiance to when they were in school.